Welcome back to some more Halo 2 Legendary Deathless action. Today I'm bringing you guys the level Sacred Sacred Icon. I literally just woke up. I'm trying to remember how to speak English. So this level is one of the more boring ones, but also one of the most RNG dependent. Right here I do a little double nade throw to damage these sentinels and then get a nice little nade boost forward. That's a fun little trick to do, although whenever you mess it up, sometimes it can be a little scary, so it's a slightly risky strategy, but especially when I'm going for individual levels like I am here for this video, it's definitely worth it because I can just reset. Although in a full marathon run, I might reconsider it just depending on the situation, but I would say I'll definitely go for it every time, just because I like to live on the edge a little bit when it comes to the Halo 2 speedrunning. And here, just gonna do another nade jump forward, and there's gonna be quite a bit of just waiting on Sacred Icon. That's one of the reasons why I don't really love this level. There's actually a couple of reasons why I don't love this level. It's pretty fun overall, but there are sections where you have to wait, like I already said, and it's also one of the most dangerous levels in the entire game, really, just due to RNG. Later on, there's going to be sections where Flood can spawn with shotguns and rocket launchers and all kinds of stuff that just one-shots you if you get unlucky. And right there, the reason why all those sentinels and enforcers exploded was after you hit that button there, all of them just kind of explode on their own. And sometimes a sentinel can live, which is why I checked my back there just to make sure a sentinel wasn't going to live and shoot me in the back. And now here I'm just gonna wait a little bit. This is a section where you just kind of have to wait, and this enforcer will spawn, and as soon as his graphics kind of change, you can shoot him, but as soon as he spawns you can't shoot him. He's invincible, but you have to wait a second. And as I do there, and then shoot his weak points, his little arm things hanging down, and that is definitely the fastest way to kill him. And as soon as you take him out, you can proceed with the rest of the level. This door over here in this direction will open up and a bunch of sentinels will pop out, and it kind of has like weird gravity, so you can, like, if you time it right, you can kind of get like a super jump like that, which is kind of cool. Although sometimes it can screw you over because if you get unlucky, you're just like floating in midair and the sentinels can just melt you instantaneously. Here's a section where you can just go camouflage and sneak past the Flood, and now we're coming up to the scariest part of the entire mission and one of the most scary parts of the entire game. Here there are a few shotgun Flood that spawn here, but as you can see, I got actually pretty lucky. I was trying to distract them with the nade, and then you can skip a small section there by jumping through the window. And so I'm just kind of throwing nades here, and there I do a little trick that's called a shotgun boost, and I don't get a very good shotgun boost. It's a trick where if you are looking at an enemy and you press melee, reload, shoot, and jump all at the same time, then you can get a boost forward. Just one of the many Halo 2 tricks in this game to help you save a little bit of time. And I didn't get a very good shotgun boost there, but even just getting a small one is enough to get you far enough away from the enemies to help keep you safe. And so that's why I go for it there. And there I get another tiny shotgun boost. Really doesn't save much time, but it makes it slightly safer. And again, go for a shotgun boost. And apparently I didn't get any good shotgun boosts in this playthrough here for this level, but it was still the fastest time I've gotten on this level. I beat I beat my personal record by about like 35 seconds or so on this attempt here. And so the shotgun boost really won't save you a lot of time. Really the main reason to go for it is to just help keep you safe. And now here's even more just running forward. There's a ton of sections in this level. Like the entire like first half of this mission is just holding forward and opening doors. You do have that really scary section, but for the most part, it is pretty safe as long as you take the right route. And here, what I'm gonna do is, while I'm way back there, I'm gonna open the door and then go invis and grab a carbine. And this is a special carbine. It has a lot of ammo in it for some reason. Like it holds like over 100 bullets. I'm not really sure why. On this level, there's carbines on the ground that hold like 130 bullets or something. As you can see, it has 99 bullets in reserve, and that's not including what's in the magazine. And now here we're coming up to the most fun part of the mission. This is the only sword fly that is necessary for my Deathless route. And it can change depending on where the flood spawn. So I do like a little sword fly there, and if I get lucky, a flood will spawn closer to the mountain, and I can just sword fly clear over the mountain. But with that flood spawn, I kind of have to do a little bit of parkour action and climb the tree to get over the mountain. And it's no big deal. You lose a little bit of time, but the reason you do that is because you skip a spawn of enemies, and you skip a spawn trigger. And so that way what you can do is control when the enemies in this next section spawn. Whenever you skip the trigger, you can just backtrack and hit the trigger again, and the enemies will spawn in, which is what I did by going back inside of that cave there. And now this is a pretty annoying section, I would say. There's quite a bit of combat here. In this section, you have to fight off, I believe it's 6 waves of enemies, and you have to kill all of them, or at least most of them, a certain amount of enemies. And the reason why I'm nading my own teammates here is to get them off of the turret, because well, when your teammates are in the turret, they don't do very much. The turrets don't do very much damage to the flood at all, and so your teammates are much more effective if they're just boots on the ground with their weapons. And I also gave the white elite friend half jaw battle rifle there, because for some reason the battle rifle is the elite's most lethal weapon by far. And so every time I find a battle rifle, I'm gonna give it to my teammates, because they have unlimited ammo, and they just laser, lock on, headshot, everything. And so it's super effective against the flood. And the sword is also really effective to give to your teammates, although the battle rifle obviously gives them much more range. And any close-up enemies you can pretty much deal with yourself with either a rocket launcher like I have here, or in most cases I would have a sword. And I believe I do end up putting down the rocket launcher for a sword coming up here. And I walk over to this hole here because sometimes the enemies can fall into the hole and survive. And so since you have to kill all the enemies to progress the level, I have to make sure that I am checking the holes to make sure that there's no enemies hiding down there. And as you can see here, I found another battle rifle, so just give it to my enemy, or give it to my teammate, and he gives me more carbine ammo. I would say the carbine and the sword are definitely the best weapons to have here, although the rocket launcher really isn't bad, especially since it blows up their bodies, so that way the little popcorn flood can't reinfect the flood's dead bodies and bring them back to life. And you can do that with the sword as well, but you have to get a little closer with the sword, obviously, than the rocket launcher. So It's slightly more risky, although I would say definitely much more efficient. And the sword can kill much more enemies than the rocket launcher can, because the rocket launcher has very little ammo, unless you just get a bunch of enemies that spawn in with the rocket launchers, but that doesn't always happen. But you do find a bunch of swords, always, guaranteed. So sword is pretty much the most consistent way to do it. And now I fought off all 6 of the waves. I believe it's 6 waves, by the way, don't quote me on that. And now the mission just kind of ends. And that end part is kind of funny, because that white elite that you have is invincible, so he can just kill all the enemies. It'll take him a long time, but he can literally kill all the enemies himself without your help. So technically the safest thing to do would be to like just hide and let your teammates kill all the enemies, but it is much faster to help them out and kill the enemies, and it's pretty safe overall as long as you don't get too risky. Well, anyways, that was Sacred Icon. Thank you so much for checking out the video today, guys. We're going to be bringing you Quarantine Zone here real soon, so keep an eye out for that. Peace.